So you have just learned that you can visit China without a visa for up to 240 hours in 2026. Sounds amazing, right? But here's a catch. China's transit without visa policy, TWOV, comes with very specific rules, and many travelers get denied entry simply because they misunderstood one small detail. In this video, I will walk you through 8 common transit without visa mistakes travelers make, and more importantly, how to avoid them. Because the last thing you want is to land in China only to be told that you have to go straight back. Alright explorers, time to projecting. For those who are new to this channel, my name is Lee and I help you to make your China trip with less frictions. Consider subscribing if you would like to receive the latest info about travel to China. And before we get into the transit without visa topic, make sure you check out this video as it explains the full visa requirements for China in 2026. If you fall into the category that would normally require a visa, but you qualify for the transit without a visa program, in other words, you are holding a passport from one of these countries, then keep watching. The first and most common mistake is treating China as your final destination. Transit without visa is exactly what the name says, transit. Your itinerary must follow this structure. Country or region A to China, and then to country or region B. If your flight looks like this, country or region A to China, and then to country or region A, you will be denied entry immediately. For example, LA to Beijing to LA, Hong Kong to Shanghai to Hong Kong. These are not valid transit routes. To qualify, the country or region you leave China must be the different one from the one you arrived from. So if your flight is LA, Beijing, LA, you can simply add a return ticket from Beijing to Hong Kong and your itinerary becomes LA, Beijing, Hong Kong, Beijing, LA. This way, you may qualify for the transit without visa both ways in Beijing. Mistake number 2. The same country return via layovers. This one catches many travelers by surprise. Even if your itinerary looks correct, a layover can break the rule. For example, US to Beijing to Seoul to US. At first glance, it looks fine. The issue is the overall round-trip structure. Because the journey ultimately returns to the same origin, immigration may consider this not to be a valid transit itinerary. The safest way to avoid this problem is simple. Make sure the destination you fly to from China is clearly a different country or region where you actually came from. Always check the entire routing, not just the immediate next flight. So for this example, you might want to make sure your Beijing-Seoul, USA trip is booked as 2 separate tickets, meaning you're only showing Beijing-Seoul tickets to the China immigration, instead of showing the entire ticket. And to the immigration, your itinerary becomes USA, Beijing, and Seoul. Mistake number 3, overstaying the 240 hours limit. Another serious mistake is not understanding the 240 hours window is calculated. And be careful, even a small overstay can lead to major consequences. This includes fines, detentions, and potential bans that may affect your future trip to China. Here's the key details that many travelers misunderstand. The 240 hours clock doesn't start the moment you land. It actually starts at the midnight on the day after arrival. For example, if you land at 3 p.m. on June the 1st, your countdown actually starts from the midnight on June 2nd. That means you must leave no later than 11:59 p.m. on 11th of June. So always calculate the departure time carefully. Mistake number 4, entering through a non-designated port. Transit without visa is only available at specific ports of entry. This includes certain airports, seaports, and train stations at the time of this video. Major international hubs such as Beijing, Shanghai, Guangzhou usually supports transit without visa, but not every airport does. I have listed a full list of the entry points that accepts transit without visa here on the screen. So you can screenshot it and read it carefully. If you try to enter through an unauthorized port, immigration will simply refuse your transit entry. So always check the official transit without visa port list before booking your flights or making other arrangements on your tickets. Mistake number 5, leave the approved regional area. Many travelers assume that transit without visa programs allow them to travel anywhere in China, but that's not the case. Transit without a visa program is not a national visa. You are restricted to a specific region. For example, the current policy only allows travelers to visit the areas that are shaded on the map shown on the screen. And the coverage includes places like Beijing, Chengdu, Xi'an, Guangzhou, and many other popular destinations. Leaving the approved region can result in serious immigration violations, so always plan your itinerary within the permitted stay area. Another common mistake involves Hong Kong routes. Remember earlier we said Hong Kong counts as a separate region? That's true, but the rule still applies. Your routes become Region A, Mainland China, to Region B. So these routes will not work. Hong Kong to Shanghai and back to Hong Kong because the entry and exit regions are the same. However, to fix this, you can do like this: Hong Kong to Shanghai and back to Macau, since Macau is considered as a separate region under this transit without visa scheme. Mistake number 7, no confirmed or onward tickets. You must prove to the immigration that you are leaving China within the allowed time. That means you must have an confirmed onward ticket to a third country or a region. A simple reservation or booking reference may not be good enough. You should have a confirmed flight ticket, a fixed departure date, and a confirmed seat. Airlines often check this before boarding because they are responsible if you are denied entry. So to be safe, always carry a printed copy of your onward itinerary. Another surprisingly common question is about the port of entry. Do you have to exit from the same place where you entered? Many travelers think that entry point must be the same as the exiting point. For example, if they fly into Beijing, they assume that they must leave from Beijing as well. The good news is that transit without visa program is now more flexible, and many travelers have reported that as long as both your entry and exiting points are on the approved port list, you can enter through any of these ports and leave through another without issues. For example, a route like LA to Beijing to Shanghai to Tokyo can work as long as both ports and regions involved are within the approved transit without visa framework. So the key point is not whether you leave from the same city. The key point is whether your points are approved and whether your journey still follows the correct transit without visa rules that we mentioned in number 1. Alright, China's transit without visa policy is one of the best ways to explore the country for a few days without applying for a visa. But the rules are quite specific. If you follow them carefully, transit without visa can be one of the easiest ways to visit China. If you are planning to visit China for the first time, please check out my free pre-trip guide, link in the description box down below. Project out for today. I will see you in the next one.